Hi, this is Jillian Spencer-Taylor. I am here at ViVE with Inder Kohli of Healthix. Thank you for speaking with me today.
Thank you, Jillian. Happy to be here.
Yes, I'm so glad that you're here with me today. So, Inder, tell me about you a little bit and Healthix.
Sure. So, I have been in the healthcare provider space for over 2 decades.
Yes.
Implementing solutions, managing operations, innovations, transformation, including cybersecurity and service excellence of the organization.
Yes.
That has been my last 2 decades of career. And Healthix is a health information exchange that really, think about it, stays in the middle of all these health entities,
Yes.
health systems, ambulatory practices, long-term care facilities, even peer, and we help exchange the data, which is very relevant for continuity of care across the continuum for a patient. So we are a company which not only exchanges this information for this organization, but we also have a data and the tools and services developed on top of it, again,
Yes.
to advance research for population health, for surveillance, and of course for clinical care and alerts.
Yes. So, as CTO, the scope of your role is the company, the cybersecurity posture of the company, the tools and the tooling that your engineers use,
Yep.
impact on product development.
All of that.
All of that.
And then more importantly, we are dealing with one of the most important asset, patient data.
Yes.
So keeping that safe, HIPAA compliant,
Yes.
and sharing based on the required need and authorization and patient
Yes.
consent is an important aspect of
Yes.
what we do. We are a high trust certified organization, and that comes with its own constraint, but that is utmost for us as a trust we have to not only the organizations who share data with us, but also to the patient whose data
Yes.
reside with us.
Yes. So, tell me a little bit about your journey to becoming certified in the security regimes and the frameworks.
Yes.
Because
So
that's a big journey.
that's a big journey, and
Yes.
I would say that was not my forte till about a few years ago. But
Yes.
when I joined Englewood Health as a CIO, one of the clear deficiency I saw was a lack of cybersecurity program and team and structure. So it was all of it, people, process, technology.
Yes.
So I launched a NIST-based cybersecurity framework, which brought the organization's ranking from very poor to an excellent within 18
Yes.
months. Now,
Yep.
that was achieved with
So
really...
you mapped the NIST frameworks
We did.
to SOC. That's sophisticated.
And not only that, we achieved the outcomes out of it.
Yes.
Working with our vendor partners, working with implementing those tools,
Yes.
working within my organization to raise the cybersecurity awareness, because it's
Yes.
really people who are the weakest link.
Yes.
And also making sure the process is conformed to the best cybersecurity practices. So that was my really first journey
Yeah.
of implementing all of it, soup to nuts. And I, as a CIO, had not only responsibility for cybersecurity, also my infrastructure team, so I could
Yes.
influence it, because
Yes.
as you know, the work shifts to them.
Yep.
And then being the mouthpiece for the organization of cybersecurity awareness.
Yes.
So an incredibly rewarding journey, a lot of hard work,
Yes.
but very rewarding journey.
Yes. I love that you said that, and I want to scratch a little bit deeper at the infrastructure
Sure.
question, right? Because some people would call it boring, but understanding your technical infrastructure is key to achieving these certifications and complying with these frameworks. So, if you were advising a company going through SOC 2
Yeah.
or high trust today, what would you say your lessons learned were?
So you picked on the very right thing, right? It's always the foundation,
Yes.
which is where we need to go back to. There are plenty of tools in the market, but tools are only as good as what I would say is the depth and strength of a foundation.
Yes.
If we layer a high-performing tool on a very weak foundation, it's only going to amplify our risks. Right?
Yes.
So that is where it all starts, and that's where I think these frameworks help, because this framework dig deep into a level of not only the architecture compliance, but also
Yes.
the configuration compliance,
Yes.
and more importantly, the access structure around it.
Yes.
So I think those things all help us in laying the right foundation. And as I said,
Yes.
NIST framework, when you do the assessment, will come back with all the items which are rightfully go back to infrastructure team to fix.
Yes.
In cybersecurity team is only a policing, body there.
Yes.
So that is where I think I played an important role, and that would be my goal, right? cybersecurity is not an IT issue, it's an organization issue. So the leadership of the organization
Yes.
need to stand behind it. The leadership of information technology need to stand behind it.
Yes.
That means they ask their cybersecurity, so their infrastructure team to do the hard work and make tough decisions.
Yes.
Because none of it is easy. We are essentially taking convenience away from users, which is never popular. But we have to share that story, share that narrative
Right.
of why we are taking that convenience away. You cannot unplug in the USB. I guess no one does it anymore. A few years ago, that was a big thing.
It was
You're
a big
taking
thing.
that ability away,
Yes.
right? But now it is external emails, external websites, all of those. Because we are dealing with an environment where AI-based attacks are there, that antidote needs to be some sort of a tool which can
Yes.
keep up with it. And that's what I did. I implemented an AI-based SIM,
Yep.
AI-based endpoint management.
Yep.
These are the reasons, because it's not humanly possible to keep up with it.
No, that is correct.
Yep.
Well, because we sleep and the cybersecurity attacks don't.
And that's where these tools come in.
It's true.
Yeah.
I love that. You and I had a discussion before the camera started rolling about lessons learned and how healthcare security is different from other industries.
Yes.
And I just want to let you have the mic for a moment and talk
Right.
all about that.
Right. So two things here. There is no downtime in healthcare, right? So it is not a typical organization where we can shut down over the weekend and work on all our systems and upgrade them,
right.
configure them. So
Yes.
think about building a house while living in it, right?
It's intense.
So that's one.
Yes.
The second piece is, because in my previous life, many moons ago, I used to work in financial software industry. It was much different there. We could
Also
control
another highly regulated
right,
industry.
but we can control the data.
Yes.
If you don't have access to data systems, we can block it.
Yes.
But healthcare, especially the provider side of healthcare, works very differently.
Yes.
The data has to be made available to all clinicians at all time.
Yes.
We rely on their ethics. They will only go in and look at the patient data when they have to take care of the patient or
Right.
for treatment purposes. But we don't know when they need access to data. So at that point, we don't have barriers and gates to enable an access. The data has to be
Available.
So think about the attack surface, which is always on. That is different from most other industries.
Yes.
I think these two
Yes.
are big challenges. we face.
And I think you also need to think about all of in my industry, we call them edge devices,
Yeah.
right? Every single laptop
Yeah,
that's connected into something,
absolutely.
every single MRI machine, every single cell phone that's
Yes.
connected. It's as disseminators of information, right?
Yeah.
Your attack surface isn't just that everything is available 24/7. It is accessible
Yes.
by so many devices.
It is.
Yes.
And that's exactly what I'm worried about all the time, right? And then so you have tools, you have controls, but still things slip through it, right?
Yes.
And again, sometimes it's easy to block, but for clinicians it's impossible to block. And we also deal with situations where you mentioned medical devices and,
Yes.
and modalities. I mean, they are all mini computers in there,
Yes, they are.
but not always kept up to date
Yes.
the way we are supposed to.
Yes.
And so that's another challenge. So now
Yes.
you put compensatory controls around it.
Yes.
We go through the segmentation process. We do the perimeter security.
Yes.
I think the goal is that within the ecosystem, the operation should not stop,
Yes.
especially the patient care side of things.
Right.
And we just need to assume certain amount of risk because we have to do our primary role, which is patient care.
Patient care.
And
yes.
then it becomes job. So it's easier if you are a product company, you can shut everything down.
Right.
Not that that job is easy, but it makes it even harder
Yes.
on healthcare side.
Absolutely. That's so impactful, I think, because there's a very human thing, which is a knee-jerk reaction to this piece of machinery, say an MRI machine, is a one, patient care machine, two, it is revenue generating. So when it
Yeah.
is down, it
Oh,
is
yeah.
costing money.
It is costing.
Yes. And day by day, there is just a drift of you are secure at one point and then slowly out of date until you are very out of date.
Right.
And updating the cybersecurity, updating the software that is running all those machines
Yeah.
is a hurdle. I call it activation energy.
Yeah.
It takes quite a lot of activation energy to pull a
And that is true.
chemistry
right.
term.
And
Yes.
not just losing business, it delays care if it's
Yes.
down, which is
Yes.
again really the aspect
Yes.
is our focus on
Yes.
it, right?
Yes.
You're correct about that, and that is why and so we cannot keep it going for too long.
Right.
So we plan for those windows, but those windows
Yes.
is very, I would say, closely monitored and managed and coordinated
Yes.
with our clinicians.
Yes.
Because again, we're dealing with a 24/7 acute care organization.
Yes.
There is no downtime.
Yes.
Now, if I bring it in my current context of where I'm exchanging the same information with all these entities. So
Yes.
in some ways, I'm exchanging 9,000 entities are sharing and receiving information from us.
Yes.
It's again 24/7, and some of these are patient care specific. So I have a same level of so to say, scrutiny today, same level of uptime requirement today than
Yes.
before,
Yes.
because even though I am not directly responsible for patient care, but my customers are, or my partners are, who are relying on us to share that information, generate alerts, or
Right.
all other value-added services we have.
Yes.
So it hasn't changed as much, except maybe I'm not managing the MRI machine as much,
Right.
but I am really managing that critical alerts that they are relying on
Yes.
based on the data I collate from all these entities.
Absolutely.
The thing we all need to be very well aware is when we are implementing technology solutions, we got to start at a level below, especially in clinical settings, on what workflow or problem you're trying to solve.
Yes.
And then design. So designers want to get to a technology solution, and when that is overlaid in a healthcare operation,
Yes.
most times it won't match. So that
Because you're talking about the back end versus
so there
the
is a
front end.
value for a programmer to understand, walk the walk, walk the halls of the hospital, and see how the clinician is going to utilize that solution.
Yes.
We call that immersion visit.
Yes.
I think that is the most important piece, because and that's one piece of when you're designing technology. The second I will put in is everyone is talking about digital and AI tools and technologies, which
Yes.
have an absolute power to amplify everything.
Yes.
But if they are cracks in your foundation, and if they are weaker workflows
Yep.
and weaker infrastructure solutions, that
Your
will
house
also
is
get
gonna fall
amplified. So we often, and data, more importantly, if data is not clean and well connected, those tools will not deliver the value you need. So I think for both the things I'm saying is, you gotta go back to basics, which is not the highlighted work, which is not the most exciting work, but you gotta get your foundation in place. You need to connect the dots with your data. Your infrastructure need to be upgraded, and then you overlay with a tool, which is either a machine learning or automation or an AI tool. Then you really get the measurable output
Yes.
we need.
And when you get all of that right, I think the beautiful thing about that is that your cybersecurity will scale with you.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it should not be even an afterthought ever. And I don't think these days nobody is taking cybersecurity as an afterthought. You're developing a tool, your HIPAA compliant security, your protection of data and
Yes.
tools and configuration is paramount from day one.
Yes.
So I would hope no one is thinking it as after the fact.
No.
Right.
Right.
And that is what that was a case a while ago. We think
Yeah.
about what about cybersecurity. So as soon
For
as I
years
launch
it
a
was built
project, my first deal is, how am I going to deliver this in the most secure fashion without really
Yes.
hampering the workflow of a clinician?
Yes.
Even with my data, that's the solution, right? It's one thing you're running analytics, which is not patient care related. I have a different barometer for that. But if I am generating something which will affect patient care, a population health, I am equally careful about it. As how will it affect, how secure it is, and more importantly, it should not add friction to the workflow.
Yes.
It should reduce friction.
Security is a key factor in
Yeah.
the quality of the end product.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you, Inder. How do people find you on the internet? How do people connect with Healthix?
So people can connect with Healthix. We are on all social medias, but predominantly on LinkedIn too.
Yes.
I am mostly on LinkedIn, but then I'm also available in various other forums where I get an opportunity to talk to people. But LinkedIn, I would say, and for Healthix is all forms of social media.
Yeah.
We are the single largest HIE in the country, exchanging information with thousands of entities
Yes.
in the New York region.
It's been so amazing talking with you. Thank you so much for your time today, and have an amazing time at ViVE.
Thank you.
Thank
I'm
you,
glad for the
Inder.
opportunity.